Okay. I think I'm live now. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, wait. Oh, can you guys hear me? Huh. Interesting. You guys can hear okay? Yeah. YouTube changed some stuff up here along with Streamlabs, and it's just kind of strange. Wonder if I can pop this chat out. Toggle timestamps, participants. Huh. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what to do per se, but every time they change something, it literally is so confusing. But yeah, I'm happy you guys are here. Oh yeah, I have to update my countdown timer. Shoot, what? There we go. Okay, yeah, sorry for the confusion there, guys. I'm happy to see ya. It's good to be hanging with you. It's almost as if though YouTube has like two separate systems going on all at one time. Hey, yeah, Jessica, love you too. Thanks for being here, guys. Good to see you. Greetings, you fabulous Earthlings. Happy Sunday. Bring keto-friendly cookies. Oh my gosh, sugar-free. Are we gonna get diarrhea? Let the bullying commence. She's gonna bully me into submission. Well, you know what? Long story short, I'm just happy that everyone is able to be in the chat, because sometimes YouTube is a little bit unpredictable. Oh, there we go. Popped out the chat there. I guess I can move this stuff back up, because I have two monitors, but I almost was thinking I'd have to bring my OBS. I'm just talking about a bunch of nonsense right now, to be honest. But yeah, thanks for being here, guys. We're having a good time. We're ready to rock and roll. What am I doing for Thanksgiving? That's, a good question. Gonna be with some family. Thankfully, we're pretty close. And yeah, family's gonna be here in the area. Grandparents on both sides are coming in. My mom's usually the one that hosts it, which is cool because it makes it easier. I just venture over there, and yeah, just gonna stuff my face. I think that kind of makes. Thanksgiving the. Like, what do you think? Thanksgiving's better or Christmas better? Now, when I was younger, obviously, I would say Christmas because of presents and stuff like that. But as you get older, and food seems to be the most important thing. Crystal with the tends to stop. I can't stop yawning. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I know whenever I yawn, it can be contagious on stream. Lils with the 2. Says Law at Get Stuffed, listening from work. Nice. Hope you're having a good work day. Hope everything's going well there. Yeah, we're getting stuffed tonight with some spookiness. It's gonna be litty. Oh, I see. There we go. So Robin Mikalsen, my editor and amazing thumbnail maker, as a graphic designer, all of the above, 4D fella, created this cool background you see here where the stream's ready to kick off, and I really love it. It's so cool. Like, the amount of talent with that guy, and he can do anything in a short period of time, just amazes me every time. So thank you, Robin, for that. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Holly Harder with the $5 says happy Turkey Week, Joel. Thank you. Yeah, hope everybody's having a chance to get to be with family. If not, I hope you're doing a Friendsgiving, something cool, getting involved with people and just eating food and breaking bread together, being humans with one another, with each other. What area? Oh yeah, I am in Pennsylvania. This is where I am from. We got a little bit of snow in my area this morning, which was interesting. I walked out and I saw that the outside, like the light coming in, kind of from reflecting off of the walls, looked really bright, and I was like, did it snow? And it, sure enough, it snowed. Caitlin says, Joel, do you want pics of my birds? They like to flap their wings. Yeah, I like birds. I'm down with the birdie pic. Is that going in the selfies and pets area on the Discord? Guys, we've been having some good times in the Discord lately, so be sure to join that. That's linked down below, or one of the mods will link that here. Pennsylvania, heck yeah. Official text says, I'm a graphic designer too. You learn new stuff every day. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy the amount of cool stuff that you can create. I mean, just this sweet space backdrop with an astronaut chilling out, watching the asteroids go by. I think that's so dope. KT Loser says, I'm in Texas. Snow hasn't happened down here in Houston in 2 years. Before that, it's been 10 years. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of jealous. Like, sometimes I want to get away from the snow, but sometimes you kind of just are where you are. At least you're supposed to be there in the moment. Daisy Cupid, welcome, and Cold Hearted 21. What's poppin', guys? If one of the mods wants to check and make sure that the description of the video, maybe the title, looks normal, because it actually prompted me before I started the stream what I wanted to put in there, when normally you update that elsewhere. So that was kind of interesting. Lorena Batista with the 2 says, happy to hear you before the holidays. Good vibes to you. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys are making your way downtown, walking fast, if you guys are making your way back home for the holidays, I hope you're traveling safe. It's definitely one of the most heavily trafficked times of the year. Food for Thought says, my dad's buddy Joel's brother would smoke crack and dress up in a wig with a dress and one shoe. That's crazy. Everyone's on crack in my house. Just kidding. That's just for dessert. Gotcha says you wish you could send money. That's okay. Just happy you guys are here. Sorry I haven't been, kind of been stuck streaming like once a week. I'd like to do more. Just sometimes, depending on my schedule, things just get kind of hectic, and I can't seem to make it at the convenient time, though I'm sure you guys wouldn't mind if stream happened really at any time. I'm sure it might actually bring other members of the audience into the stream at times, which would be fun. But I always can guarantee you that new videos will be out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so you don't have to worry about that. What does Pradeep do for Thanksgiving? Oh, he's going to be begging for leftovers. Even though technically I guess he'll be here at my house. So he's probably going to be taking a nap, much like 95% of the rest of America after they finish their foodsies and get that food coma going. Maybe that's why he's always sleeping all the time. Maybe every cat just had a food coma. Lorena with the 2 says, do you enjoy a quiet, creepy, snowy night? I do, yeah. Really, I remember years ago I have fond memories of, it's snowing at about 3 in the morning. And I had just kind of been kind of cooped up in the house all night. So I thought, you know what? Let me throw on some heavy clothing, a coat, and my headphones. And it's snowing, so like I love that like late night snow where the sky is kind of pink, and I'm not exactly sure why it's like kind of pink, if you know what I mean, where it's like nighttime but you can kind of see stuff because the snow is just reflecting everything, but it has sort of like a mildly pink hue to it all, and just crunching through the snow late at night is always just a good time. Have time to just kind of reflect, and everything is eerily quiet but also relaxing at the same time. I guess it depends on how you look at it. Electra Hart with the 5 says, please send me food, Dad. I'm still in the basement. Can I come out yet? P.S. You still smell. Not until you verify that I am not a stinky man. I will throw something down in the basement here come Thanksgiving. Maybe the wishbone. You can wish your way out of that basement. Brittany with the 2. Thank you, Brittany. Sarah, yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Cheers from Canada. Yeah. Do you guys, do you guys have any celebrations occurring around this time up in old Canada? Brittany with another $2 buckaroo dono. Thank you. Please show my face. Elizabeth, if you go into the Discord, you can ask around, and someone will kindly lead you to my face, which is located in the selfies channel on there, along with a lot of other beautiful faces. And if you so desire, you guys can share your face on there as well. The first snowfall with big fat snowflakes is always so pretty to watch. It's the few days later when it's slushy and brown that sucks. I know. Whenever winter just refuses to leave and it's just lingering around, getting everything gross and dirty and making things slippery and wet, it does get kind of annoying over time. But I do like that it kills off all the insects. Or at least makes them go away for a while. Captain Holland with the 2 says, glad you're on. I can convert friend Edwin to the cult. Oh, perfect. Yes. Get Edwin involved here.
Full-grown pizza.
Oh. Lorena became a new member, became a full-grown pizza. Welcome to the Buttersock cult. Thank you. Thank you for joining. You got a lot of donations here, guys. Thanks for this. Appreciate it. Caden Gosley with the 2 says, me and my wife love your videos. Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I enjoy hearing about people saying that they watch the videos with their significant other and kind of bond on that. That's really cool to me. I'm glad I can, kind of be a part of that intimate experience. Holly Harder with another 5 says, just want to profess my love for Jamie. Yes. It's hard not to love Jamie. She's a cool hottie. Jacob Daniel with the 2 says, love your vids. Thanks, Jacob. And Jean Fenwick with Gene Fenwick, sorry. Saying it like a Frenchman with the 2. Thank you. And Alex Rios with the 2 says, shout out to my sister Jackie, who's going back to school. Back to school. Back to school. I got my lunch box packed. My shoes tied tight. Hope I don't get into a fight. Daisy Cupid with the 2 says, need this, making my first turkey this. Hey, good luck. I imagine you will do very well. I'm doing a Friendsgiving after normal Thanksgiving with some friends. I'm already going to be stuffed, but they're doing their first turkey as well. And I had suggested that they deep fry the turkey inside of the house. But I am only kidding because, as you can probably look up online, there's quite a bit of house fires that have started from deep frying a turkey. Ray with the 2. Thank you, Ray. And Electro Heart with another 5 says, okay, old man, you don't smell too bad. Now, can I get out of here? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Thursday how if we even have a wishbone available for you. Silly Stephanie with says, love your videos in your voice. Thank you, Silly Stephanie. Jennifer, feeling the love. I'm glad. Hey, man, I refuse to think that's a drink. You're just taking tiny bong rips. Yeah, just over and over again. Like, Austin, we're going to deep fry the turkey in the house. Say no more, fam. It's easy. And Pumpkin will give you a beer. Yeah, Austin has trained his dog to go get him a beer out of the fridge. It's pretty, gosh dang, impressive thing. Honestly, I think that's what pit bulls were bred to do. Go get beers. That's why they have really strong bites for cracking caps. Electro Heart with the dude says, Binch. Binch, please. Brine that turkey, yeah. Yeah, if there's one thing that I love is a very succulent piece of poultry or a bird, succulent bird. So, because more often than not, the old meat, the white meat of the turkey, especially turkey or chicken, is oftentimes a little dry. I don't know how you guys feel or what your strategies for keeping your turkey during Thanksgiving from getting too dry is, but brining sounds like a great plan. Lorena with the 2 says, I was wondering about the buttersock code. Oh, yes. That's an ancient mystery that's as old as time. And to be honest, I have no idea what it means anymore. But we know we're all about tradition here, and none of us like to question authority. So if you could keep your curiosities to a minimum, we would have to be, we would hate to be faced with any sort of, reality of our strange practices. It's best just to kind of roll with them. You've only had one moist turkey in your 21 years. I'm sorry to hear that. We need to get things more moist in your life. Stories, yo. Get to them. Chop, chop. We will, Aaron, in 2 minutes and 27 seconds here. You can see the countdown. We're just trying to get all the tardy folk in here while we can. All the stragglers. Hopefully YouTube shares this out. Click the like button if you haven't already, because it does help the stream. I believe it lets the YouTube algorithm know that people want to check this out and join the fun. And share it. Share the stream. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Fartbook. Let Grandma know on Boomer Book that you are listening to some weird guy read weird stories. And you want her to join. You want her to come subscribe. Please don't be vegan on Thanksgiving, y'all. Yeah, I don't know. What is that? A tofu turkey? Caitlin M says, how do I donate? So I believe if you go down to the chat, there's a button, kind of like a money sign button you can click, and it'll take you through that whole process. Should be pretty decent, but there are also other options if you prefer to use PayPal. I believe the link to Streamlabs is down in the description there if you can access that. If not, just let me know. Hopefully we can get that link there. But thank you for the consideration. Cold Hearted 21 with the 3. What the Fox says, how? Actually, my My eyes are small. Oh, how's it going? Yeah, it's going fantastic. My eyes are small. Therefore, I can't see anything. The old fought in Vietnam. He's a boomer. Yeah, I was making things boom for sure. Lila, your dad's a boomer, no joke. Yeah, the Great Boomer War of 2019. Yeah, moist meat is good meat. I was recently looking into people talking to me about, vegan bodybuilding and that kind of thing. Not that I'm going to go down that route, but it's interesting to see that most of your, amino acid profile can be found in, various other things besides meat. And but apparently you kind of have to get a lot more, which I feel like is a little bit tough. Whereas vegetables and things of that nature, oftentimes legumes. Read Sonichu comics. No spamming, my friend. That's really the only rule I have here. Besides, because I think everyone knows not to be a dick, but spamming is kind of a dick move. Sugar Mills with the 5 says, treat yourself. Thank you. But yeah, as far as vegan bodybuilding stuff goes, it's just, I'd like to try it, but it's like, I feel like I would have to learn like an entirely new process of consuming food and making it. Apples make moist turkey. Oh, that sounds good. Do you put them inside of the turkey? What doth you do? Austin, are we going to brine that turkey? What's the plan, bro? I'll bring the brine. I'll bathe with the turkey. Go vegan. It changed your life. Yeah, what kind of good things happen when you went vegan? Because I know people say that oftentimes they do it for ethical reasons. I understand where they're coming from. Like, I appreciate where they're coming from, but that's not necessarily, wouldn't be one of my primary motivations. But certainly, is it a lengthy process to produce all that good vegan food? Katya Henry is a thick vegan. Yeah, I'm sure there's some good YouTubers. Hey, Daniel, what's happening? Some good YouTubers that would be some great references. Gothic Rose with the 2 says, happy Thanksgiving to American cult members. Yes. Thanksgiving is one big cult practice, but it's one of my favorites. Joel Bryan. You can use my brine. Maybe I'm brining right now. Just sitting in a sopping tub of juices, slowly absorbing all of them to my body, ready to be deep fried in somebody's house. It depresses you that one day all boomers will be extinct. Yeah, we have to preserve those boomers. They've been hunted into reclusion, similar to the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch. Isaac Place says, let's read. I barely joined. I was busy. No problem. Welcome. All right, guys. So we got 7 stories tonight that are oriented around the great American holiday of Thanksgiving. We're going to be switching over the music, switching up the vibe, straight vibing to Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. This one's a little bit loud, but if you enjoyed that was from Chill Hop Music. This feels like really loud for some reason. I don't know if you guys feel that way or not. Normally it's not that loud, but based on my normal parameters. Graphene Pixel with the 5 says, if you find a good amount of extreme road rage scary stories, will you make a compilation of those? Yeah, that would be great. You guys got to go out there and have your own little road rage experiences so you can send them in. Also, if you do, like, on screen, you can see there, if you have a story, send it to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. That's my subreddit where I gather the majority of my stories for different videos. You can also submit them if you want, more internet karma to reddit.com r/let's not meet, or if you got a paranormal story, you can submit it to paranormal, our paranormal. All sorts of fun options there, because then you can get probably a lot more feedback on the other subreddits because they got more people. But today, we're pulling from my subreddit here, as well as other stories that people have emailed. I upload them to the subreddit just to make it more convenient to read, because I get a lot of emails with stuff. But if you got a story, I would advise you to head over to the subreddit to increase your chances of getting it out into the world and shared. Joel Daddy is 29. This is true. I am 29 years young. It's crazy how fast time goes by. I felt like I was 6 years old yesterday. Okay. So this one's called Sister's Boyfriend. Enjoy. My big sister has always been kind of the black sheep of the family. She got into partying way too young and got into all kinds of trouble with our parents and the police, and it was a general headache for our family right up until she left for college. She actually squared her stuff away in time for the SATs, or so Mom and Dad say, but only really mellowed slightly. She remained the mentally irregular weirdo that we'd all grown to know and love. So flashback to the second Thanksgiving since she moved to Jersey. First time, she just came home on her own. But the second time, she brought a friend. Her boyfriend, to be specific. Most doting moms will get pretty excited at the idea of meeting their daughter's college boyfriend, but like I said, my big sister was always different. So instead of wondering what handsome bookworm she was about to bring home, Mom and Dad started to profusely worry about what variety of freaks she'd drag over the threshold to spend an entire evening with us. Cut to the night in question. My mom gets a text from my sister saying she's on her way with the boyfriend. They're in his car, but they're stuck in a little Thanksgiving traffic and would be a little late. Mom and Dad's anxiety is at fever pitch at this point. They're rushing around, trying to make sure the house is perfect. Dad starts pounding beers. Mom starts whining at Dad for pounding said beers. The atmosphere is getting pretty intense. Then we hear car doors slamming outside. A girl's voice and a boy's voice coming up the driveway. I'd probably... shit. Yeah, someone's gonna have to keep track of mistakes. We haven't done that in a little while. I enjoy your trolling when I flump up. Actual black sheep are hard to work with. Yeah, the actual barn animal. His sister was a legitimate creature. I'd probably have been a little nervous if the whole thing wasn't so entertaining. Only when the boyfriend comes inside, it's a total anticlimax. He's clean-shaven, neat, actually kind of preppy, and shakes my parents' hands super politely before introducing himself. Now, just to explain, I'm not using any names here, and you'll soon realize why that's the case since there's so much personal info on my account. So it's actually looking like my parents have got themselves all worked up over nothing, like I mentioned. My sister had done a fair bit of mellowing out in the run-up to her SATs, so I guess it made sense that it carried on into college. So the boyfriend starts with this impressing the parents routine, and honestly worked like a charm. He was studying environmental science or something as his major. I can't remember exactly what his degree was, but my parents were seriously impressed. But when he announced he'd bought some home-cooked food to add to the spread... Gang's all here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're about 250 peeps right now, which is cool. Cool. Hey, Billy's here. Hi, Billy. Hi, Jamie. But when he announced he'd brought some home-cooked food to add to the spread, they seemed to fall for him harder than my sister had. And I don't know. I get it. He seemed pretty cool. He played Xbox too, so even we had something to talk about for a while. So eventually my mom wanders off into the kitchen to take various things out of various ovens, and before long she announces that dinner is ready. Quick note, the casserole dish full of stew that my sister and her boyfriend had brought was covered in aluminum foil and been placed in an oven to keep warm, so it ended up on the table, lost in the jumble with everything else, all the yams, pots of cranberry sauce, etc. So when it came time to passing around plates, everyone got a little spoonful of this mystery stew. My dad says grace before we all tuck in. Not that he's religious, but he's big on tradition and the actual giving thanks part of the Thanksgiving experience. I like to think he's not talking to God, just whatever force in the Shit. I like to think he's not talking to God, just whatever force in the universe made it so we could be fortunate enough to enjoy this kind of, man, I'm messing up here. Gargle, gargle. He's not talking to God, he's talking to the Boogie Moogie Man. There we go, okay. So, Holly Harder with the 5 says, I'm going to need you to watch Twin Peaks already so we can discuss it. Yeah, no, that's seriously been something that I've been meaning to get on for like years. I don't know why I haven't, to be honest. Twin Peaks does sound pretty freaking out there, which I love. I love really strange stuff. But thank you, Holly, for the 5. Thanksgiving drinking game. Take a shot every time a family member insults you. I would be well, I'm already plastered by the time I get there. Joel on buttered bagels. Just spread me thin, baby, spread me thin. I like to think he's not talking to God. Just whatever force in the universe made it so we could be fortunate enough to enjoy this kind of abundance. And then, as you can expect, everyone starts devouring their food, as we've been pretty much fasting all day since the kitchen was well and truly occupied. But when my dad gets done with his little Thanksgiving speech, my sister's boyfriend asks if he can say a few words. Everyone is busy filling their mouths, so there's a few affirmatory grunts and nods before he begins his little speech. So I can't remember what he said word for word, but I can definitely remember the spirit of what was said. So here goes. A big part of the Thanksgiving tradition is acknowledging the influence of our Native American brothers and sisters on... Oh wait, this is like dialogue, so I'm probably going to have to say it. A big part of the Thanksgiving tradition is acknowledging the influence of our Native American brothers and sisters on our great American culture. It was some grandiose opening. I think I was barely listening at that point. We can still learn a lot from the once plentiful tribes that once called these lands home, and one of the most important lessons is respect for the animals that help maintain our lifestyles. Right about then, I cut into a chunk of meat that had been spooned on my plate for their mystery stew and instantly recoil. The thing was kind of hollow on the inside, not like any piece of braised beef or lamb I'd ever come across. It took me a minute, but something just kind of clicked when I took a closer look. I recognized something about it, something from biology class the year before. It was an empty chamber. What was technically known as a ventricle. What I was looking at, what I'd just about to take a bite out of, was a lamb's heart. Right as I'm wide-eyed looking up, about to draw attention to just what was on my plate, I hear my mom gag audibly. She recoils from the table, pushing her chair away so hard it made this horrible squeaky creaky sound against... Squeaky creaky. Squeaky creaky. 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 That's creaky. Billy, you're going to your sister's for Thanksgiving? Oh, what are you gonna make? What are you gonna make? Christina Abro says, sorry I haven't donated in a few weeks. I just quit my job spontaneously. Until I get another way, I'm going to be a little more conservative in my purchases. Hey, no worries. Just happy you guys are here because I'm going to be recording anyways these stories. This is all just kind of a little bit of fun with the gang. I get to interact with you guys and make some friends. Making friends. Making motherfucking friends. I'm making motherfucking friends. Right as I'm wide-eyed looking up, okay, I hear my mom gag audibly. Okay. She recoils from the table, pushing her chair away so hard it made this horrible, squeaky, creaky sound against the hardwood floor. There, sitting in the middle of her plate for all to see, was an eyeball. Little side note, my mom loves animals. Not quite in the same way that the boyfriend obviously did. More in a, I wanted to be a vet and I almost went vegan kind of way. And she is horrified, beyond horrified, like this is an actual nightmare come to life for her. She gets up, sprints over to the downstairs bathroom, and slams the door behind her before we hear puking and retching noises from behind the locked door. So my dad chases this guy out of the house, with my sister screaming at them both, trying to stop a full-on murder from occurring right in our driveway. I watch for a bit, then grab some turkey for a sandwich before heading up to my room to tell my friends exactly how this entire crazy drama unfolded. But this wasn't the end of the whole drama, not by a long shot. Word comes through the family grapevine that my sister was so mad by what he did that she broke off the relationship. Apparently the guy didn't take it very well, but he couldn't handle a simple Thanksgiving dinner. Apparently the guy didn't take it very well, but if he couldn't handle a simple Thanksgiving dinner, how was he going to handle getting dumped? So my sister comes home again for Christmas break, alone this time, and we're not expecting anything weird to happen, like at all. Which only made it all the worse when Mom went to take the dogs for a walk one morning and found something hanging in the tree. It was a lamb, hanging by its hind legs, its stomach torn open, with its guts still streaming in the cold winter air. I'm like kind of confused what happened there. I'm kind of confused what happened. Does anybody know like what happened? Was that guy just killing animals like out in the, like right by their house? Like I don't get it. Refill on water. Refill on water. Hades says, I've sent chills down your spine many a time. Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad I could. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're perfect timing, Porcelain Panda. Just in time to hear apparently some guy cutting open some lamb goo. Some lamb guts. Mother-fletching friends. Boyfriend killed the lamb and hung it from the tree like a crazy person. Yeah, that sounds pretty crazy. What the hell? What the heck is this problem? Yes, I was refilling my bong water. Been drinking too much of it. Butter socks and bong water, baby. Hey, we're at like 300 peeps right now. Thanks for being here, guys. Click that lizardy like button. Tell everyone else to get in here ASAP. ASAP Rocky. Took the lamb from the front property, strung it up, and cut it open and left it there. Yeah, that sounds like, I mean, it was Krampus. Yeah, it might have been Krampus. Dude, I need to watch that Krampus movie. That horror movie that came out a couple years ago. It actually looked kind of sweet. So I started blasting. Paulo Plays. First live stream, you love it. I'm glad he can be here. Moln says, I went to Cabela's with my daughter. They have these wooden boxes for deer skins. I showed her and she was freaked out. Reminds me of the lamb. Oh, yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I'm always curious, like how, I mean, I guess depending on how early you start kids into hunting, like some of them could be quite scarred from it. Billy, you were watching the 49ers game. How are the 49ers doing? I saw that the Patriots and the Cowboys played. Cowboys couldn't pull it off, but it was quite the close game, 9-13. I had just arrived in a nearby grocery store on Thanksgiving afternoon. You know how it is. You think you've got all your bases covered until it's half an hour before the relatives are due to arrive, and you realize you've gone and forgotten to pick up cranberry sauce. Or you only have one bottle of wine to be shared among like 10 to 12 people. I mean, no offense to my in-laws, but I'm not dealing with a dozen of them at a time without at least 2 or 3 glasses of Merlot in my belly. They call it a social lubricant for a reason, right? Anyway, everything seemed perfectly normal as I got out of my Chevy. Got out of my Chevy for Thanksgiving. I got out of my Chevy truck to go get the Merlot. That'd be funny, like a country song of tough country guy singing about his love for Merlot. In my Chevy truck with a bottle of Merlot, and we're watching 90 Day Fiancé. Anyway, everything seemed perfectly normal as I got out of my Chevy and started walking over to the storefront. However, by the time I reached the end of the parking lot and was only within a few meters of the store, I spotted them. There were like 10 really obvious gang members standing in front of the store's entrance. They all looked young, but they definitely had the attire of a fairly large gang in the nearby area. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Check this boomer thinking any gatherings of youth is like a gang, or some nonsense. But here's the thing. We're the only township in our state to have our own gang unit, as we have some serious problems with gang activity bleeding over from a nearby metropolis. I actually have an old high school buddy who was attacked by said gang. I actually have an old high school buddy who was attached to said gang unit for a few months of Sorry, this is just a weird sentence for some reason. I actually have an old high school buddy who was attached to said gang unit for a few months of tactical training. So trust me when I say I recognized a few different indicators that these guys were definitely in a gang. Color coding, similar tattoos. They even wore Boston Red Sox or Chicago Bears caps, anything with the telltale B on it. As I approach them, I am constantly repeating to myself in my head, don't make eye contact, keep cool, don't make eye contact, don't make yourself a target. I must have repeated that a dozen times, but honestly, it didn't make me feel any calmer whatsoever. It also didn't help any. As I'm getting towards the storefront, I can see one of the gang members break away from his group and make an approach to me. I literally have hundreds of dollars on me at this point after having made almost constant tips to Ibrahim, you're high on NyQuil. Oh yeah, the perfect complement to a stream here. Reptilian research full on pizza tonight. You can make some taco crazy tonight. Yeah, it is tough. Yeah, once you start hearing about food, your body is easily manipulated to making some poor decisions. Nebo Allen, thanks. Appreciate it. It's the best voice for this. Thank you. I literally have hundreds of dollars on me at this point after having made almost constant trips to various grocery and liquor stores over the previous few days. All that, and we still didn't have enough for our guests. Typical. Luckily, as one of the gang starts to approach me, a lady hastily walked towards the store and caught its attention, along with the other members. They promptly switched targets, and I breathed a huge sigh of relief. The gang members started to initiate a conversation with the lady, something that was obviously confrontational. As they talked about something, I didn't really listen, I just wanted to quickly go past them. I sped up to go into the store, barely escaping their grasp. Once I finished my shopping, the hard part came, going back to my car while my arms are fully laden with grocery bags that are quite obviously filled with bottle of shit. Oh man, I don't know why my voice keeps cracking. I did make some tea with some stuff to help throats, sore throats and stuff, and normally that does it, but I guess I've just been Talking so much, it kind of dried myself out a little bit. Once I finished my shopping, the hard part came. Going back to my car while my arms are fully laden with grocery bags. Grocery bags that are quite obviously filled with bottles of booze. A prime target for robbery if ever there was one. I planned ahead and only brought things I could carry in the plastic bags. The cart was too big of a risk. Regrettably, I brought one or two more things than I would comfortably handle, so I started to approach... Wait, what the fuck? Regrettably, I brought one or two more things than what I could comfortably handle, so as I started to approach the exit, I could feel something about to fall out of the bag. I go through the automatic doors and accidentally make eye contact with one of them. I quickly look away, and in my head I'm cursing at myself for making such a foolish mistake, but it's way too late. The gang member that I made eye contact with started to approach me and starts muttering something that I figured is directed at me, but I just ignored it and rapidly walked to my car. However, no matter how fast I walk, it's no use. The kid quickens his walking pace along with me, power walking towards me as he's still saying something. I speed up even more, and then I hear a few things fall out of one of my bags. For a split second, I contemplate on what to do. Ultimately, I decided as a lost cause and continue my fast walk toward my car. The boy is still on my tail. I finally reach my car, but with my hands full, I cannot reach into my pockets for the car keys. I quickly drop the groceries from one of my hands to get the keys, but I realize in absolute horror that I've somehow dropped both my keys and my wallet. I have no idea why I opted to do that, throw my wallet and keys inside the grocery bags along with the bottles. In retrospect, I figured that it was just a rush decision, one made in panic and haste, and ultimately a poor one. I was effectively trapped in this parking lot with the approaching member quickly gaining on me. I look to my right and see the boy standing there with a smirk on his face, holding what is clearly my wallet and keys in his hand. I'm terrified inside and thinking the worst, that he's about to take my car off of me, as well as my keys and my wallet. I was just imagining how angry my wife would be. It was at least 2 hours walking back to our family home, and that's if weather holds. If not, I might be in some serious hypothermic trouble, facing a fate considerably worse than just a dressing down from a furious spouse. Then, to my surprise, he comes closer to me. He's just off my left shoulder, and I'm actually considering something life-changing. You see, in my glove compartment is a .38 snub nose that I kept for self-defense purposes. In a split second, I could see myself in my imagination smashing the car window, whipping the glove compartment open, grabbing that pistol, and shooting that kid dead. But just when I think he's about to pull his own gun, or a knife or something, I just hear him say, "Hey, mister, I think you dropped this." He's holding out my keys and wallet, obviously offering them back to me in a peaceful display of thoughtfulness. Astounded, feeling somewhat ashamed for my assumptions, I hesitantly say, "Thanks." Thinking that there was nothing to fear, I grab the item and start putting my groceries away. Groceries away. Why are we talking about R. Kelly? What's going on with R. Kelly? Oh, if you say R. Kelly 3 times after midnight, he shows up and pees on you. Interesting. I had no idea that was a possibility. What will I do with that information? Oh, yeah, if you say my name, it might happen too. Not as much pee, though, probably. Much more butter. Much more sock. Looking back, wait, Thinking that there was nothing to fear, I grab the item and start putting my groceries away. Looking back, I think the only scary thing was how quickly I judged those kids. I mean, I know they were in a gang, but that doesn't mean that even bad people aren't capable of acts of compassion and kindness, especially on a day like Thanksgiving. All right. Well, that turned out to be a lot less scary than anticipated, but maybe there was a mild amount of suspense involved. I was kind of hoping he would, he'd be like, "Oh," and then when I checked my wallet, all the money was gone, and it would just give you another reason to at least confirm that gang members are batty boys. Batty boys. R. Kelly's the new boogeyman. Yeah. That's what you gotta tell your kids. If you don't go to bed, I'm gonna send R. Kelly in here. Or R. Kelly's gonna get you. And relieve himself on you. Alright, this next one's called Hell's Angels. So is Hell's Angels a gang, or is that like a group? Like a boy band? Is Hell's Angels a boy band? Like a K-pop group or something? Alec, DJ Chef in the building. What's up? What's popping, bro? I checked your wallet. R. Kelly was in there. And now I'm in your wallet. Yeah. Oh. How much longer can I be in your wallet? How much more can I be in your wallet? Give me all your money. Oh, it's right next to me in your wallet. Dude, what a weird guy. Well, it's mainly that one song. Like, I guess, obviously, Ignition was pretty popular. Hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. But besides that, there was that weird, like, 9-part music video. I mean, South Park did make fun of it, I believe, but man, what the heck? Like, what went through his brain? He's like, these aren't even rhyming lyrics. He's literally just saying things in sort of a sing-song fashion as he's telling some weird story. But in a lot of ways, I guess that's kind of what an artist should do. I'm going to sing this entire story. Let me tell you about my Uncle Earl. Uncle Earl was my dad's older brother by 4 years, and they were wicked close when they were younger, growing up on the North Shore of Boston. Boston. Let me tell you about my Uncle Earl. Fuck, my voice keeps krizacking. What in tarnation? What in tarnation, nation. All I want for Christmas is glue to sniff. Okay, here we go. Let me tell you about my Uncle Earl. Uncle Earl was my dad's older brother by 4 years, and they were wicked close when they were younger, growing up on the North Shore of Boston. My dad used to get pretty badly picked on by some Italian kids down at Bunker Hill High School, and Uncle Girl, I just said Uncle Girl again, what the fuck's wrong with me? And Uncle Earl was the one who finally went down to talk to them about it. Yeah, he was that bigger brother. Another thing you should know about Uncle Earl. In the late 60s, the U.S. Marines were drafting all the poor Irish and Italian kids from the poor neighborhoods around Shit. Oh, fuck. I don't know why. I'm, like, messing up my cadence. Yeah, he was that bigger brother. Another thing you should know about Uncle Earl. In the late 60s, the U.S. Marines were drafting all the poor Irish and Italian kids from the poor neighborhoods around Beantown. According to my dad, everyone was terrified of getting that letter in their mailbox. But not Uncle Earl. Because of his 18th birthday, Uncle Earl marches down near Boston Common and signs up for boot camp. The way my dad tells it, this is because Uncle Earl was a quiet patriot who was honored to have the opportunity to serve his country. But we all know that the real reason is because Uncle Earl is completely nuts. So now for the actual story. It's late 1991. I've just turned 15 and Thanksgiving is just around the corner. Mom and Dad are rushing around trying to make sure everything is prepped and ready to go, while I'm just chilling in my room playing my brand new state-of-the-art Super Nintendo. Then an argument commences. My parents weren't really ones to argue out loud. They'd have tense but quiet discussions, trying not to let us kids see them being negative. I always appreciated that, but hence why I was so concerned about them shouting. I crack my bedroom door and listen in on what they're talking about, quickly gathering that it's an argument involving my Uncle Earl. Earl had decided to attend this year's Thanksgiving and was apparently bringing his family along with him. I didn't fig Newton much about him. He liked taquitos. Casual bong hit. Nah, man, I would be freaking gone if that was the case. I'm serious. You feel like Joel actually has a Super Nintendo? Well, let me reveal something that's even more important than my face reveal. Yes, the famous YouTuber and reading sensation Let's Read does, in fact, have in his possession currently a Super Nintendo entertainment system. And on it, well, around it, I guess, he has cassettes. Isn't that what they're called? Cartridges. He has cartridges. He has game cartridges ready to rock. He blows in them, slams in there, turns it on. Sega. And he freaking games. He's just a gamer. He's just a simple gamer. Like a boomer. He's like a boomer, but he's a gamer. He's a goomer. Lils with the 2 says, your voice is making me so sleepy. I need a nap. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you can do that I don't know if you can do that during work. Lils, you must be careful. You must be careful. Lils, think about it. Think before you close your eyes, please. David Colsar says, you shouldn't blow in the games. Why not? That's what they told me on the news. Should I spit in them? Should I spit in the games? I didn't know too much about Earl. Just that he was a NAM vet and that he and my dad hadn't spoken in almost 10 years. What my mom could have possibly found objectionable about this, I didn't know. But it did kind of make me sad that we seemed to have such a fractured family. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened that Thanksgiving evening. I would see exactly why my mom was so angry at my dad Minami with the 3 says, sound you make when you drink equals R. Kelly peeing in my dream. That's actually what I'm drinking right now, is some R. Kelly pee. Yum, 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 yum. Swish that around in my mouth. A little tart. A little, good year, though. Good year. 2002. Back when he peaked. He was girls selling bathwater, but R. Kelly set the trend way long ago. He's got bottles of this stuff that I buy at Walmart. They've got a surplus of it. It's like when they find a warehouse full of, like old rugs, and it's a fire sale. They got to get rid of all these rugs. They found an entire warehouse out in the middle of Arizona at one of R. Kelly's compounds, full of piss bottles. What did I do? I took all your donation money, bought every one of them. It's really the only thing that gets me by anymore. The Great Warren with the 2 says, real question, do you have a power glove? Holy shit, that sounds... Is that what the purple man from Avengers uses? Purple man. Purple man. Purple man. What is Purple Man's name? I forget. You remember Echo the Dolphin? Now that was a cool game. Dude, I watched a speed run of Echo the Dolphin. The levels get pretty friggin' diggin' weird, man. Which is kind of sweet. It's kind of what I was hoping for. but the controls were a little bit difficult. They should bring back Echo the Dolphin with some dank graphics. Also, has anybody seen Half-Life Alyx, the advertised... Oh, Thanos, yeah. Has anyone seen Half-Life Alyx, the next Half-Life game that's going to be on VR? Because that looks tight AF. Like, for real. I thought it was so sick. Like, right in the beginning, they're literally... Like, I don't know, just like peeking around corners and shit. It's just like super immersive, and they're like, the person is going through the shelves looking for ammo, and I'm like, what the fuck? That looks so cool. And just the fact that, you know, Half-Life has... And I'm telling you, that is exactly the prediction. I don't think I made it. I think I heard it somewhere subconsciously, but I don't know if we talked about Half-Life 3. I remember saying that if they're going to do another Half-Life game, every Half-Life game to thus point has been... you know, essentially kind of groundbreaking. And so like the first one was one of the first like first person shooters to actually have like a legitimate story and sort of immersion, whereas in the past it was mainly a lot of just like streamlined kind of Doom type stuff. And then Half-Life 2 really took first person shooters forward as far as I guess like stories go, and then also involving a lot of like physics related puzzles. I mean, Half-Life 2 definitely was pretty groundbreaking on a lot of different regards. And yeah, now they're bringing it back with when I was anticipating VR, and there it is, a VR game, and I think it's gonna be litty ma fucking titty. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened that Thanksgiving evening. And I would see exactly why my mom was so angry at my dad for refusing to disinvite Uncle Earl. Cut to Thanksgiving morning, and things are tense in our house. All day my mom is snipping at my dad, All day my mom is snipping at my dad, first seemingly hopeful that he'll disinvite his brother, but later outright contemptuous that he somehow didn't have the sack to tell him no. During a quiet moment, I asked Dad if Uncle Earl really was coming to dinner, and I'll never forget his reply. Family should stick together, son, no matter what. He then told me the Italian bully story, and I remember understanding why he couldn't tell Earl no. They were brothers. Nothing could or would change that. So I'm back to wondering just what it is that's got my mom so on edge, letting the thoughts slip from my mind as I drive back in for another level of Super Mario World. But the cutesy 16-bit sound effects were suddenly drowned out by what sounded like an army of engines, motorcycle engines to be specific. I looked out of my bedroom window and gasped at what I saw. There's like a whole fleet of motorcycles clogging up our quiet suburban street. They're all wearing matching leather jackets too, with identical stitching and designs on the back of them. I squinted through the fogged glass, trying to read what they said. I had no frame of reference for them, so when I read the words Hell's Angels on the back of their jackets, it didn't really mean anything to me. But it would by the end of the evening. Where's that little brother of mine? An old man at the front of the column began shit. Okay. Godzilla vs. King Kong. Hell yeah, dude. Didn't they already do that? King Kong, King of Monsters. Or no, Godzilla, King of Monsters. Or no, the one before that. It was so weird. They made a Godzilla movie, and then it, like, expanded into having its sort of, like, own universe, which is really strange. Porcelain Panda, you're gonna go rip your muscles to pieces. Heck yeah. And rebuild them with some Thanksgiving din-din. An older man at the front of the column began to shout. His bare arms, how he wasn't freezing I don't know, were covered in hand-inked tattoos, one of which clearly read, Vietnam Vet. When I die, I'll know I'll go to heaven, 'cause I served my time in hell. It was Uncle Earl. That was the evening the Massachusetts chapter of Hell's Angels Outlaw Motor Club invaded our family home. I think I was so scared at first because Mom locked herself in her bedroom. I'd never known her to be so skittish, and I guessed it was because these guys were actually dangerous. So you can imagine how terrified I was when I heard someone banging on my door. Before I could even answer, Uncle Earl and a handful of his Hell's Angel friends had piled in my room, the stench of cigarette smoke and open beer cans floating around the room. "What is this?" Uncle Earl spat, peering at the Super Nintendo and the graphics on the screen. "Is this some kind of movie?" I remember stammering, so scared I could hardly speak. "Nah, Press," one of his friends replied. "It's one of them video game things. Look, he's making it move with the remote thing there." "My God, what a time to be alive," Uncle Earl said with a smile. "You must be one wicked smart kid to be able to make it work, huh, kid?" He ruffled my hair, and I began to relax. But what he did next made my head spin. "Happy Thanksgiving, kid. Buy yourself a movie for your thing. I don't know what you... What the fuck? I don't know what you me up here. I don't know what you call it. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, kid. Buy yourself a movie for your thing. I don't know what you call 'em." Uncle Earl took out his wallet and tossed a few $10 bills onto the floor next to me. "Boys, back me up here." At that, all of Uncle Earl's friends took a few dollar bills out of their pockets and tossed them onto the pile. I swear I had like $300 when I finally counted it all up. To this day, I've never seen such an outrageous display of generosity. But as they filed out of my bedroom, one of the bigger, hairier Hell's Angels didn't leave. He just sits down next to me on my bed and asks in the deepest, most gravelly voice I've ever heard, "Mind if I try?" I handed him the controller, and at first he couldn't work out how to do anything. He actually managed to walk down a pitfall too, thinking it was where he was supposed to go. I gave him a little impromptu Nintendo lesson until he actually got pretty good, and found myself kind of sad when he had to leave. When the angels had finally left, I plucked up the courage to see just what condition they'd left downstairs. It was a real mess, but it wasn't the whirlwind of destruction my mom dressed it up as. Just a lot of empty beer cans and fancy cups used as ashtrays. But there wasn't a single scrap of food left in our house. All the turkey, all the yams, every last mouthful of green bean casserole had all been completely consumed. That was the most terrifying thing in the end, really, that there wasn't even enough left over for a turkey sandwich. Selena Martinez with the 2. Buckaroonies, thank you, Selena. And Lils with the 2 says, "I'm going to go nap until a customer appears." Zzz. Okay, sweet. I'm glad. That's pretty cool. You can do that at work. Hell yeah. Almond bobbies. Propane and propane accessories. Well, those last 2 weren't like super scary, but I guess they were definitely interesting for show. For show. Alright. Reapply the lube of the lips, the lippy lube. Just buttered socks, hell yeah. Yeah, it was kind of an uplifting story. MEB with the 5 says, "I just woke up. I'm late for work, but it's all good because I get to listen to my favorite streamer while I'm getting ready for work." Hell yeah. Hopefully you're not in too much of a rush here and can enjoy it somewhat, but I hate that feeling of being late for work. That's like the scariest thing back in the day. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm late for work. What will I do? Should I twerk to celebrate that I'm fired? Lip smackers. Thanksgiving, although one of the hallmark holidays in the American yearly calendar, can be an extremely stressful experience for some. For some unfortunate people, family is less about a network of love and support and more a web of jealousy, suspicion, and hatred. But for one Florida family, Thanksgiving joy turned to the ultimate horror, and it didn't end there. I actually don't know how you pronounce this last name. Paul Marriage. Marihige, or Marihige. This might have, hopefully this isn't loud.
This evening, Paul Michael Marriage was arrested and taken. Paul Michael Marriage was Paul Michael Marriage. Paul Michael Marriage was arrested.
Paul Michael Marriage? Ooh, he's like smiling and shit. What the fuck? Paul Michael Marriage. Question. No daddy. Oh. Paul Michael Marriage. Yeah, so I guess it's marriage. Lippy Lube. Oh, that's a great name for a chapstick. Lippy Lube. Do they already have that? No, stepbrother. What are you doing? I saw that video on Reddit the other day. That was so funny. Stepbrother, how do I boil pasta? He's like, what are you talking about? You put water in the pan. Stepbrother, where? I don't know. What's water? What do you mean, what's water? It's... What? What? Where is it? Just like the dumbest shit. Stepbrother. I sounds Canadian. I am not. I am not, eh? What do you say? Bro, I'm convinced he's Canadian. Convinced. Dude. I'll prove it. I'll prove it. I'll make him drink this whole thing of maple syrup. He'll do it. If he's Canadian, there's nothing that's gonna stop him from doing that. As Paul Marriage, 35 years old, commenced a murderous rampage directed at his own family members, he was reportedly heard to mutter, "I've been waiting nearly 20 years to do this." Marriage's violent mental break resulted in 4 dead and an additional 2 wounded on Thanksgiving 2009. Marriage's extended family had gathered at his cousin's house, owned by Muriel Sitton. Owned by Muriel Sitton and her husband Jim, down in Jupiter, Florida. After chowing down on a traditional Thanksgiving meal, they'd gathered around a large grand piano and joined together in singing traditional Christmas songs, to the delight of a 6-year-old Michaela Sitton, who was tucked into bed soon after. It was as wholesome as a festive scene as one can possibly imagine, at least until Paul, who'd been acting relatively calmly all night, produced a loaded pistol and began fulfilling a dark, twisted fantasy he apparently had since he was a young boy. Marriage began systematically picking off his victims, shooting his 33-year-old twin sister Carla Marriage, who was employed as a real estate agent, and Lisa Knight, who was 8 months pregnant at the time of a brutal murder. Like little Michaela, they both loved to sing. Marriage also shot his 76-year-old aunt, Raymonda Joseph, who, due to her advanced age, had little to no chance of escaping the slaughter. Marriage's brother-in-law, Patrick Knight, was rushed to the hospital in critical but stable condition after surviving one of Paul's bullets, while another man, Clifford Gabera, 52, was grazed by a bullet and also taken to the hospital. Sitton doesn't think Marriage planned to kill Michaela, but he thinks he became overcome with rage and jealousy when he saw the family delight in her singing. He tried to snuff out her light. He tried to snuff out the light, Sitton said. He came into a baby's room. He saw her innocence and he walked in and purposefully killed her. After the mass murder, Marriage went on the run from the law for weeks, supposedly having entertained ending his own life. He had been laying low in the Florida Keys under an assumed name and living off the $12,000 in cash he'd withdrawn before Thanksgiving. That was until January of 2010, when an attentive member of the public spotted him after his appearance on an episode of America's Most Wanted that focused on the obscene brutality of Marriage's killings. That huge 12 grand cash withdrawal further underlined how premeditated Marriage's crimes had been. The local Palm Beach Post described him as an estranged recluse who clashed with his sisters in the past. One had even taken out a restraining order against him a few years prior. But at that 2009 Thanksgiving, everything seemed calm, at least on the surface. However, court records show in the weeks before the deadly Thanksgiving attack, he had painstakingly and discreetly spent over $2,000 on at least 4 firearms and the appropriate ammunition in 2 Broward County gun shops. He even asked for a scope to be attached to a bolt-action Remington 700 rifle. He said he wanted to use it for hunting, but the gun salesman would have no idea just what he planned to hunt until weeks later. Marriage had been asking his parents probing questions for days about the Thanksgiving event. Evidently trying to find out just who would be attending, but never committed to his own appearance until the day itself. This can be evidenced by the fact that his parents never alerted their hosts Jim and Muriel Sitton that he might be attending. When he called that evening to announce he was on his way, his mother couldn't resist a sinister thought. "I hope he doesn't come and kill us all tonight," Carol Marriage recalled telling her daughter, Lisa Knight, according to a Jupiter police report. "Mom, it came to my mind," her daughter replied. "But don't say that to Dad because he'll get upset that we even had such terrible ideas." In October of 2011, Marriage pled guilty to all charges after making a deal that would spare him the death penalty. Instead, he received 7 life terms to be served consecutively. As you might expect, the case caused a huge rift in the family, both emotionally and legally. Marriage's brother-in-law, Patrick Knight, who lost his wife and was himself gravely wounded in the shooting, said he was eager to move on from the tragedy instead of enduring years of appeals. But the murdered child's grieving father, Jim Sitton, begged the judge not to accept the dead in light of the slaying of their young daughter, Michaela, even falling to his knees in the courtroom. The Sittons also filed a lawsuit against Marriage's parents, seeking damages for The Sittons also filed a lawsuit against Marriage's parents, seeking damages for what they'd invited. Seeking damages for that. This is just weird sentence. It says, seeking damages for that they'd invited him to the gathering without warning. Seeking damages because they'd invited him to the gathering without warning. Alright, we'll just say because. The Sittons also filed a lawsuit against Marriage's parents, seeking damages because they had invited him to the gathering without warning the host that their son might be dangerous. If someone brought a rattlesnake or a pit bull to your home without your permission, and that pit bull started attacking and killing people, wouldn't you hold that person responsible? Jimmy Sitton asked indignantly. That's what this is. We're seeking justice that every means... That's what this is. We're seeking justice with every means at our disposal. However, the aforementioned lawsuit was actually dismissed in late 2012, after it was determined that the aforementioned lawsuit was actually dismissed in late 2012, after it was determined the Marriages had no legal right or ability to control the actions of their son. But that wasn't the only suit filed in the wake of the brutal Thanksgiving murders. Patrick Knight also sued his former in-laws for failing to prevent the killings, including the death of their daughter and his wife Lisa. Then, unbelievably, the Marriages filed a countersuit against the Sittons in 2011, alleging the Sittons were actually to blame for the bloodshed. To the extent Paul had... this is a long one. To the extent Paul had problems, the entire family knew that. Okay. Hey, Freshco for life with a 2. Thank you, good friend. Appreciate that. Fry that bitch. We're about 350 people, guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you hanging. Sometimes I kind of wonder like what the motivation is for YouTube to alert people of who should come into the stream, because I remember before we had gotten up to like over 1,000 people before, which was pretty huge. And then it seems as if it's kind of stagnating at 350. So I don't really know how the whole process works, to be honest. Thanksgiving, what happened to Valentine's? Well, Valentine's is until about February, so maybe we'll have some stories ready for that month here soon. Colin says, I'm Canadian, but can an American give me the pass to celebrate your Thanksgiving because I want food? I think we can. Just this once, maybe. Just 1 year. We'll let you gorge on as much food as we do. You can eat with us. To the extent Paul had problems, the entire family knew that. The marriage's attorney, Alan Rosen. Wait a second. To the extent Paul had problems, the entire family knew that, said the marriage's attorney, Alan Rosen. If the Sittons were concerned he was going to be a problem that day, then they should have stopped them. It was their house. They should have protected their family as well as the marriage family if they were concerned. In the lawsuit, the marriages made counterclaims that Jim Sitton and his family had defamed them with unfair and untrue statements about the couple by saying they invited Paul to the dinner without notifying other members of the family and knowing his reputation for violence. Also named in the lawsuit is Dr. Antoine Joseph, whose wife was murdered by marriage. Joseph is Muriel Sitton's father. His sister is Carol Marriage. Joseph had apparently treated Paul Marriage and therefore was well aware of his mental instability, as was the rest of the family, his parents contended. A tangled web, indeed. There was one tiny bright spot in all of this. During Marriage's trial, the Sittons announced that Muriel was pregnant with their second child. We're having a girl, but it's very bittersweet. There will always be someone missing, Mrs. Sitton said. Some wounds never really heal. I'm going to try that last part again. It just sounded weird. Some wounds never really heal. I don't know why that sounded strange, but I feel like that's... Whenever I try it again, I can't make it sound any different. Like my voice is just like, nope, that's what it sounds like. There's really no point in trying again. America is South Canada. I suppose you could say that. When did Canada form? When did Canada... Okay, July 1st, 1867. Interesting. It's like almost 100 years after. I wonder what was going on in Canada before it was like an official country. If I was a turkey, you'd eat me. Would you deep fry me, though? Would you deep fry me? Would you at least do me that favor? Madison, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you can fall asleep. I'm glad anybody can fall asleep to this voice and take you guys off to La La Land. Freshco for life with the 2 says, love the stories. Thanks, Freshco. Mary says she made enchilada casserole. Enchilada casserole. That sounds pretty yummy. Aggressive Canadian noises. Where'd you guys find that new font? It's like a new kind of font. Christmas is only a month away. I couldn't imagine having to deal with another family gathering so damn soon. Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming, I think, for the moms and grandmas out there, and just anybody who's hosting. Joel is a moist turkey. They will cook me and eat me. All right, Nightmare on Elm Street, ruh-roh. Thanksgiving is a time of year when families convene to show their appreciation for life's blessings. It should be a time of safety and sanctuary, when the worries and concerns of everyday living are put aside for an evening of festive feasting. But for one man in Minnesota, Thanksgiving of 2012 would become a turning point, an event that would separate everything that came from before An event that would separate everything that came before from everything that came after. This is the story of the true nightmare on Elm Street. Byron David Smith lived alone on Elm Street in Little Falls, Minnesota. He was a retiree, having worked for the U.S. State Department for many years as a security engineering officer. But Smith's retirement was not a quiet one. His home had been burglarized at least half a dozen times over the few months leading up to Thanksgiving of 2012. He had only reported one of the previous burglaries to police, and investigators only found evidence of 2 previous burglaries, one of which occurred in his detached garage, and of which he appeared to have no knowledge when it was brought up by police. Among the items stolen were $4,000 in cash, his father's POW watch, coins from a collection, and a chainsaw. Smith installed a security system to protect himself. He also began routinely wearing a hip holster with a loaded gun inside his home, as well as stashing bottles of water and granola bars in his basement. It may seem like Byron Smith was being overly paranoid. Installing a home security system is one thing, but stocking up on rations like some kind of survivalist may have been a step too far. But Smith was right to be paranoid. Every evening in the run-up to Thanksgiving, his home was being cased. Casing is when a potential burglar simply observes Burglar. Hamburglar. Emmy B with a 5 says, sometimes I wonder what my motivation for work is, lol. Well, a lot of people's motivations for work is the money that you get with it, which is usually a number, a couple numbers, maybe some zeros, ones, twos, threes, fours, fives, sixes, kind of arranged in a certain pattern to indicate quantity of, most likely in your case, dollars, at least in mine usually. And then you can use that money, that number, to then trade for things such as food and electricity and, like a bed. Sometimes you can buy like funny, like gag gifts. One time I used money to buy this one gag gift that was like a Pringles can, but you open it up and it's a bunch of like spring-loaded snakes. So, I mean, think about this shift as, I'm getting money in exchange for my time that I spend there and efforts, and I'm probably going to use that money to purchase some spring-loaded snakes. So, it's definitely a motivating factor, I would hope. Casing is when a potential burglar simply observes a potential target for an extended period of time. This is to establish the homeowner's daily routines, to work out the best points of entry and escape, as well as to analyze if there are any valuables in the target home. The 2 predators outside of Smith's home was Haley Kiefer, 18, and her cousin, Nicholas Brady, 17. There is plenty of evidence that the pair was responsible for the previous burglaries at Smith's home. Brady was being investigated for prior burglaries, one of which was committed that very same Thanksgiving day. Brady was also under investigation for theft of drugs from his sister's home, so it's easy to make the assumption that Brady and Kiefer were committing a crime to fund some kind of narcotics habit. On the afternoon of Thanksgiving Day 2012, Byron Smith was making a friendly visit to his neighbors to wish them a happy holiday. As he was concluding his visit and was making his way back home, Smith saw Kiefer and Brady driving in the direction of his home. The pair must have had somewhat of a reputation in Little Falls because Smith suspected them of being at least partially responsible for some of the break-ins at his home. Smith then commented that he needed to get ready for her and went back to his house. Upon arriving home, Smith switched on a recording device he owned. He then removed the light bulbs from the ceiling lights in his basement and positioned himself in a chair that was obscured from view. He wasn't just looking to catch the pair in the act. Byron Smith had set up a sophisticated ambush inside his own home. Shortly after, he heard an upstairs window break before one of the pair climbed through the opening and into the home. Smith then waited in silence for 12 whole minutes, not making a sound, not moving a muscle. He had made a point of moving all the valuables in home into the basement in the hopes of luring any potential burglars into his ambush. It worked like a charm. When Brady began to descend into the basement, Byron Smith shot the teenage drug addict twice on the stairs with a silenced firearm, and once in the head after he fell to the bottom of the stairs. Elated and overcome with bloodlust, Smith made taunting remarks to Brady's still warm corpse, wrapped it in a tarp, and dragged him into another room. Smith then rushed to reload his weapon and re-establish his ambush, taking up his previous position in the obscured chair. Minutes later, Kiefer entered the home and could be heard calling her cousin's name. Their usual burglaries were normally quick and efficient, but Brady had gone around 15 to 20 minutes. Had been gone, sorry. This is scary. Holy shit. That's why you don't do drugs, guys, because even though obviously this guy's probably going to get in trouble with the law for, I guess the extent in which he acted upon these break-in individuals, these burglars, it's like, dude, getting addicted to opiates and then going to really large extents to fund that habit is seriously only going to find you probably an eventual death. So fuck that shit, dude. I ain't trying to get shot, you know what I mean? Emmy B with 2 says, I must go now, but thank you for your streets. Absolutely, Emmy. Have a good night. I hope you have a good shift. Their usual burglaries were normally quick and efficient, but Brady had been gone around 15 to 20 minutes. His cousin was undoubtedly deeply concerned. When she made her way down the stairs, Byron Smith put a bullet in her, just as he had her cousin. Mortally wounded, her body crumpled in pain and shock. She tumbled down the basement stairs and slammed into the cold concrete floor. In the audio recording that Smith made of the ambush, Kiefer can be clearly heard screaming, "I'm sorry." You know what? I'm not actually going to act this out because it's kind of fucked up, so I'm just going to read it. In the audio recording that Smith made of the ambush, Kiefer can clearly be heard screaming, "I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I don't want to die." Smith simply got up, approached her wounded body as he tried desperately Smith simply got up, approached her wounded body as she tried desperately to crawl. Shit. Smith simply got up, approached her wounded body as she tried desperately to crawl back up the stairs, and shot her again through the left eye in a callous, cold-blooded execution. Then, just as he had with her cousin, he spat bile-filled words at her, then dragged her into the other room before tossing her body on top of her cousin's. Despite having the corpses of the 2 teenagers in his basement, Smith was in no rush to report the incident to local police. When later asked why he delayed reporting the crime, Smith replied that he didn't want to bother the cops on Thanksgiving. Police acknowledged that Kiefer and Brady were definitely there to rob Smith's house, but asked why Smith felt the need to employ such lethal force against unarmed thieves. In his statement, Smith said that Kiefer had let out a short laugh after she fell down the stairs, saying, "If you're trying to shoot somebody and they laugh at you, you go again." Jesus, what the fuck? If you're trying to shoot somebody and they laugh at you, you go again. The audio tape did not record Kiefer laughing. Instead, she cries out, "Oh God," in fear. In police interviews, Smith acknowledged firing more shots than I needed. Sorry, I'm going to start that whole paragraph over again. The audio tape did not record Kiefer laughing. Instead, she cries out, "Oh God," in fear. In police interviews, Smith acknowledged firing more shots than I needed to, and that he fired a good, clean finishing shot into Kiefer's head. On April the 29th, 2014, a jury of his peers found Byron David Smith guilty as charged on 2 counts of first-degree murder with premeditation, with an additional 2 counts of second-degree murder. The dur- the jury. The jury took just 3 hours to deliberate. A judge then sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The audio recordings were named by the jurors as the biggest influence on their decision. That was the most concrete piece of evidence in my mind, said juror Wes Hattelstad. That was the most concrete piece of evidence in my mind, said juror Wes Hattelstad following the trial. The audio recording of the actual killings and the audio recording of Mr. Smith's interview immediately after his arrest pretty much convinced me that we were dealing with a deranged individual. Crystal, what's up? Welcome back. Did you go anywhere? I forget if you said you were heading somewhere or not. Well, you were just in time for the most disturbing story I've ever read. You know what's weird, though, is it feels as though I've heard that story before, or something very similar to it. I don't know if you guys recall that or not, but... MEB with the 2 says, spring-loaded snakes it is, then. Heck yeah. Honestly, if you guys don't own a Pringles-looking can filled with spring-loaded snakes that's at your desk at all times for every... individual that you come across to prank them, you're really missing out on a good one there. Freshco for life with the 2. Thank you, Freshco. How many stories, Joel? I'm awake now. Lils, we have 2 more to go here. And I think these ones are also kind of true crime related, which is really cool, actually. If you guys ever have like anything that, any kind of true crime topic that you think would be fun to cover in, a small, I guess essentially a story, but within like a future video or something like that, definitely send that in as well. I mean, I'm more than happy to read, obviously, your experiences, but also people's sort of like documentary-esque true crime exposés. David Poole, what's up? Welcome. Has there been a story so bad I've refused to read it? Yeah, actually many a time, like, especially in like the subscriber story stuff, because, there's not a lot of like traffic going through the subreddit sometimes, so like, I might be kind of running out of stories available, then I click one that seems promising, and then like the grammar and like the direction of the story is just like such trash, so I'm just like, I can't even do this. And I think I have streamed that before live, where I'm just like, what is this person even trying to say? So if you do send in a story, please try your best at making it sound decent. When I was younger, I had a demon watch me, Lauren says. Oh my god. Was it like a sleep paralysis type thing? Crystal, ran to the stores talking about Thanksgiving cooking for the family this year. Oh, dude, you have the honor and the privilege to cook. Man, the 49ers are doing great, Billy. That's insane. All right, this one's called The True Bloody History of Thanksgiving, so this shall be interesting. These days, the majority of students in American public schools grow up learning the story of how the English Pilgrims and Native Americans came together for the first Thanksgiving in Plymouth. Yet the reality of the situation is that there was no lasting peace between the English settlers and their one-time Native American allies. Shortly after the Plymouth meeting, the two groups became entangled in a devastating series of conflicts just a single generation after the famous feast. As it turns out, the true story behind Thanksgiving is a bloody struggle that decimated the population and ended with a bloody, severed head impaled on a stick. It is generally thought that Thanksgiving is a time for family reunions, festive parades, mountains of delicious fall foods, not to mention the rush for college students and transplants alike to make it home in time to carve the turkey. American school children are usually taught the traditional dates. Oops, sorry. So many humans right behind you, mate. How many are behind me? How stuffed are we getting? Oh, that's up to you. As much as you can handle. Also, we're at about 400 viewers concurrently now. Thanks for being here, guys. We hit the next 100 mark. Let's try to get it to 500. Click that like button. Hell yeah. Hoopa stank. Not to mention the rush for college students and transplants alike to make it home in time to carve the turkey. American school children are usually taught that tradition dates back to the arrival of the Pilgrims on the ship christened the Mayflower. These were English members of small religious sects, persecuted in their homeland, who helped to establish the Plymouth colony of present-day Massachusetts in the year 1620. According to legend, friendly local native from... According to legend, friendly local Native Americans from the Wampanoag... I'm going to say this wrong. The Wampanoag... Wampanoag... I don't know how to say that. It's like a tribe. Native American tribe. And I am going to say it super wrong, so let me look it up.
Wampanoag.
Wampanoag. Okay, we're kind of close. Wampanoag. Man, there's so many... It's so crazy to think that there's so many different tribes. It's also weird for me to think that, like... I mean, I guess it's not wildly abnormal, but to think that so many of the Native Americans had such similar lifestyles, I guess, you know, but were also, like... I don't know if they were warring with each other in the same manner in which Japan was with its various shoguns and that kind of thing, but Native American history has always been really interesting to me, and I wish I knew more about it, but I guess most of their history and traditions were kind of through word of mouth rather than written down. But Wampanoag. Wampa. According to legend, friendly local Native Americans from the Wampanoag tribe contacted the Pilgrims in order to teach the struggling colonists how to survive in their new wild home. Then everyone got together to celebrate with a feast in 1621. Attendees included almost 100 warriors from Wampanoag tribe and the 50 or so surviving Mayflower passengers. The celebrations lasted 3 whole days and featured a menu including deer, fowl, and freshly baked corn on the cob. In reality, Thanksgiving feasts predate the Plymouth colony by many years. In fact, upon investigation, one finds a number of different places have tried to claim that they were the first to hold Thanksgiving celebrations. According to local researchers, settlers in the Berkeley Hundred... The Berkeley Hundred? What the hell? The Berkeley... Let me look this up real quick. All these different places that I cannot pronounce. Let's see. How do you say it? How doth you say this word? I know how to say hundreds, so let me just look up the word Berkeley, because it's not like your normal Berkeley that you would see.
Berkeley.
Or it actually is exactly that, so never mind. Berkeley. Irish. Ever see a spirit? I don't think so. I don't think I've seen a spirit, though. You never know. Maybe they're all around me. Maybe Pradeep is a spirit cat. Only Native Americans you're familiar with are Navajo and Sioux. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was... Hey! Art, for some reason I can't, I can't read that because it's so far away from my screen. Sorry about that. But the name is Art of Matad. It says, it's not much, but I do appreciate the fear and humor you bring to me at work. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for the buckaroony. Honestly, anything is amazing, so thank you for the generosity. 400 people are here, only 200 likes. Yeah, let's get some more likes. Clicky, click, click. Clickety, click, clack, kloogly, cloak. Clock. Okay, so. According to the local researchers, not crap. According to local researchers, settlers in the Berkeley Hundred of Virginia, a hundred is an archaic administrative division that is geographically part of a larger region, decided to celebrate their arrival with an annual Thanksgiving back in 1619. Although the Washingtonian, a magazine in circulation around the District of Columbia, reported the meal was probably nothing more than some shucked oysters. Although the Washingtonian, a magazine in circulation, Although the Washingtonian, a magazine in circulation around the District of Columbia, reported the meal was probably nothing more than some shucked oysters and baked ham thrown together for the occasion. Additionally, decades before that, Spanish settlers and members of the Seloy tribe in Florida broke bread with salted pork, garbanzo beans, and a Catholic Mass, way back in 1565. The contemporary idea of Thanksgiving dinner revolves around eating roasted turkey, but to the Pilgrims, the festival was more of an occasion for Orthodox religious observance. The oft-told tales of the 1621 Plymouth festivities live on in popular memory, but the Pilgrims themselves would have likely considered their sober 1623 day of prayer the first true Thanksgiving. But disturbingly enough, others pinpoint the year 1637 as the true origin of Thanksgiving, owing to the fact that Massachusetts colony governor John Winthrop declared a day of Thanksgiving to celebrate colonial soldiers who had just slaughtered several hundred Pequot tribesmen, women, and children at a site where Mystic, Connecticut is now located. I gotta check if that's how you say Pequot. 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 Okay, that's completely wrong. Thank goodness I looked it up. Billy Amber with the 2 says, if the 49ers win, I'm going to streak naked through my hood. I hope you do. Take video, please. Thank you. Send it in. Thanks. But disturbingly enough, others pinpoint... This is a long sentence. Pequot. What's up, Pequot? But disturbingly enough, others pinpoint the year 1637 as the true origin of Thanksgiving, owing to the fact that Massachusetts colony governor John Winthrop declared a day of Thanksgiving to celebrate colonial soldiers who had just slaughtered several hundred Pequot tribesmen, women, and children at a site where Mystic, Connecticut is now located. Either way, the popular telling of the initial harvest festival is what lived on, thanks to the speech writing and storytelling of one Abraham Lincoln. The enduring national holiday has also nearly erased from... What is it? Freshco for life with another $2 says, happy early Thanksgiving. Yeah, happy early Thanksgiving, guys. I am so ready to eat. It's like I don't even give a shit about the history. I just want to stuff my face with food, which, granted, maybe every day can be Thanksgiving. What's to stop us? Let's just invent holidays just called Food Day 1, Food Day 2, Food Day 3, Food Day 456. Even though there's not that many days in a year, we would find a way to squeak them in. We'd do half days eventually. We would extend our calendar just to give us more reasons to stuff our faces. Of course, I don't think Grandma would like that, being constantly burdened with the need to make tons and tons of food. The enduring national holiday is also nearly erased. Wait, I don't get this sentence. Wampanoag. The enduring national holiday is also nearly erased from our collective memory what happened between... Okay. The enduring national holiday had also nearly erased from our collective memory what happened between the Wampanoag tribe and English settlers, little over a generation later. Oh, it's another, tribe, the Massasoit? Massasoit.
Massasoit.
Massasoit. I feel like it's ending as you should have Massasoit. 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 I'm just gonna say Massasoit because it seems like it fits more like. Well, it doesn't have the X. I don't know. Massasoit. 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 That sounds more like a tribe, right? Massasoit. The Sachem. 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 What is this word, man? Learning so much, guys. I'm learning.
Sachem.
Sachem. Ah, okay. Massasoit. Massasoit. The sachem or top chieftain. Ah, crap. This Massasoit sound right, guys? Anybody here familiar? Anybody familiar with the Massasoit? Massasoit, the sachem, or sachem, shit. Massasoit, the sachem or top chieftain of the Wampanoag, proved to be an important ally and friend to the English settlers in the years following the establishment of Plymouth Colony. He set up an exclusive trade pact with the newcomers and allied with them against the French and other local tribes, like the... Man, what the... Ugh. There's so many tribes, dude. They should have just been like, alright, we can only have like 10 tribes total. Any more than that, it's too many.
Narragansett.
Narragansett. Member of the North American people of Rhode Island. Okay. And allied with them against the French and other local tribes like the Narragansetts. But the alliance became severely strained as the years went by. Tens of thousands of... Shite. I'm starting to get on that mode where I'm like, can't read worth shite. Tens of thousands of English colonists poured into the region throughout the 17th century. According to certain history books, authorities in Plymouth began asserting direct control over most aspects of Wampanoag life. As settlers increasingly ate up more land, some have estimated that diseases such as smallpox had already reduced the American... Shite. You gonna learn me something? Can you guys learn me something? Some have estimated that diseases such as smallpox had already reduced the Native American population in New England by as much as 90% from 1616 to 1619, and indigenous people continued to die from what the colonists called Indian fever. By the time Massasoit's son, Metacomet, Massasoit's Metacomet. Okay. And read. Let's go. By the time Massasoit's son, Metacomet, who, known to the English as King Philip, inherited leadership of the tribe, relations had frayed to the point of complete disrepair. What's known as King Philip's War was sparked off when several of Metacomet's... I don't know, man. What's known as King Philip's War was sparked off when several of Metacomet's men were executed for the murder of Punkapoag, interpreter. What? What's known as King Philip's War was sparked off when several of Metacomet's men were executed for the murder of I can't read, dude. All these fucking words. I need to, like, someone to tell me how to say them. Please just tell me how to say them. Ponkapoag. I mean, it looks like the other one, but... Hey, Bree, what's popping? What's popping? Okay, we are so close, guys. What's known as King Philip's... Ponkapoag. What's known as King Philip's War was sparked off when several of Metacomet's men were executed for the murder of a Ponkapoag interpreter and a Christian convert who went by the new name of John Sassamon. Brave Wampanoag warriors responded with a series of violent raids on English settlements, and the New England Confederation of Colonies rallied to declare war in 1675. Even the initially neutral colony of Rhode Island and Providence plantations were ultimately dragged into the fighting, as were other nearby tribes like the Narragansett. Fuck, dude. Once again. Narragansetts. I think I just read this, but So many words, so many words. Dolly says, my old cat Bella, after Bella Lugosi, passed. Now my son found a kitten. He almost died, but nursed him to health. Just trying to decide on naming him Vincent Price, or Bowie. David Bowie. Oh, that's a tough one. Bowie sounds like a cool name, though.
Narragansett.
You could name him Narragansett after the tribe. As were other nearby tribes like the Narragansetts. The war was bloody and devastating. Springfield, Massachusetts was burned to the ground during a raid, and the Wampanoag abducted colonists... Springfield, Massachusetts was burned to the ground during a raid, and the Wampanoag abducted colonists to ransom back to settlers. English forces attacked the Narragansetts on a bitter, frozen swamp for harboring fleeing Wampanoag. 600 Narragansetts were killed, and the tribe's winter stores were ruined. Colonists in far-flung settlements relocated to more fortified areas, while the Wampanoag and allied tribes were forced to flee their villages. The colonists ultimately allied with several tribes like the Mohegans and Pequot. Every time I get to a tribe name, I fart it up. Fart it up. Fart it up.
Pequot.
Pequot, okay. Sup, everybody? Pequot here. Vsauce. The colonists ultimately allied with several tribes like the Mohegans and Pequots, despite initial reluctance from the Plymouth leadership. Meanwhile, Metacomet was dealt a staggering blow when he crossed over into New York to recruit allies. Instead, he was rebuffed and attacked by Mohawks. Upon his return to his ancestral home at Mount Hope, he was shot and killed in a final battle. The son of the man who had sustained and celebrated with the Plymouth colony was then beheaded and dismembered. His remaining allies were killed and sold into slavery in the West Indies. The colonists impaled King Philip's head on a spike and displayed it in Plymouth for 25 years. The war's ultimate death toll. Fartsgiving. Hell yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of gassy buildup. The war's ultimate death toll could have been as high as 30% of the entire English population and over half of the Native Americans in the New England area. The war was just one of a series of brutal but dimly remembered early colonial wars between Native Americans and colonists that occurred in New England, New York, and Virginia. Popular memory has largely clung to the innocuous image of a harvest celebration, while ignoring the deadly forces that would ultimately drive apart the descendants of the guests of that very feast. Modern-day Thanksgiving may be a celebration of people coming together, but that's not the whole story when it comes to the history of that day. I feel like I might put that story at the end. It's a little heavy. It's a wee bit heavy. Okay. GTS Synergy. Oh, yeah, those are good. Yeah, I get a lot of that. What's it called? Kombucha. Kombucha. The tribe of kombucha. Joel did it. He actually did it. Actually made it through without failing. Well, not, I'd failed many a times, but I actually made it through. We got one more story to go here. Oh, now this one doesn't have as many names to try to pronounce, so hopefully it'll be a little easier. Let me reapply some lube to the lips. Joel, you're being too loud with silence. My silence speaks volumes. Happy gas giving. Haunted Library says, I'm getting ready to blow my remaining 3 here. That's alright, you can savor it. It's up to you. And I'll end up probably reading everybody's messages anyways, you know. No need to donate unless you so desire. You're going to donate $3.50. I'm going to donate $3.50. Lube up gang, gang, gang. It's Thanksgiving Day in 1980. Ronald Reagan was elected president weeks prior. There are still 54 American hostages held in the Iranian capital, Tehran. In Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city in the world, locals are preparing to celebrate a long-standing American tradition. It's 2:57, around 47 degrees, a warm Thursday afternoon for November. 30 years prior to present, Reno is a different town. Fewer towering buildings decorate the skyline. The slate crosswalks downtown aren't yet conceived, nor are the purple flower boxes and trash cans that will give Virginia Street an effervescence character. Wait, what? Haunted Library with a 2. Thank you, Haunted Library. It's kind of cool they went from giving out $1 donations to giving out $2 donations, so all praise be to YouTube gods, oh Lord, thank you. What's her name? Wachowski, the woman that is the CEO. Wachushka Hushki. Lauren, you're trying to start a new YouTube channel soon. Any advice? I would just say get a game plan. You know, what you want your brand to be, kind of, you know, like what do you want to be as a channel, and just stick to that, you know. Don't go into it saying you want to make scary stories and then do some stupid moves that I did where I would post like gameplay videos and stuff, because YouTube operates very strongly based on momentum. So if they see one video did well, or you know, it then the next time you release a video, it's going to give your video a stronger initial push. And say you released one video that did well, but then the next time you release like some gameplay and nobody gave a shit about that, it's going to hurt your channel and not promote other stuff. So I would say get a game plan going, figure out what your artwork's going to be, your background, all that kind of stuff. Just really take some time to contemplate your future. Haunted Library with the 2 separate $2 donation. Thank you, my friend. And Colin Grandmond with the 10 Canadian maple syrup bucks says, here's your tree fitty, Liddy. Oh, that's a couple tree fitties in one. Nice little Liddy present. Thank you, Colin. You are now an honorary American and get to eat tons and tons of food. Dragon Slayer, that's okay. Just happy you are here, hanging out. We are over 400 viewers. Sick, we made it. We made it, Mom. We made it. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Fewer towering buildings decorate the skyline. The slate crosswalks downtown aren't yet conceived, nor are the purple flower boxes and trash cans that will give Virginia Street. Okay. Virginia Street. Okay, it's like an actual street. Okay. Fewer towering buildings decorate the skyline. The slate crosswalks downtown aren't yet conceived, nor are the purple flower boxes and trash cans that will give Virginia Street an effervescence character. A time traveler would likely hear the sounds of Kenny Rogers' saccharine. What the fuck is that with saccharine? Oh my god.
Saccharin.
Saccharin. Wait, what does it mean? Saccharine means, can use it in a sentence, excessively sweet or sentimental. Oh, Kenny Rogers has got them tones, I'm telling you. If there's anything that screams Thanksgiving, it's Kenny Rogers. Oh, a time traveler would likely hear the sounds of Kenny Rogers' saccharine. A time traveler... Shit. A time traveler would likely hear the sounds of Kenny Rogers' Saccharine Lady or Blondie's Call Me from a passing car stereo, competing with street sounds or the mechanical... Wait, what the fuck? Oh. Competing with street sounds or the mechanical jingling, clinking, and ringing of casino slot machines. The noises are from the actual sound of metal striking metal, not the polyphonic electronic beeps that they have today. The scent of local restaurants' Thanksgiving specials, roast turkey or baked ham wafts through the air. Those planning ahead... Fuck. I can't make it like one goddamn sentence without squeaking. Those planning ahead with Christmas shopping are more likely to come downtown or to Park Lane Mall than the JCPenney at Meadowwood Mall, which has yet to become the area's shopping mecca. This means that the downtown area is absolutely teeming with shoppers, picking up last-minute gifts and food items before convening with their families for an evening of feasting and revelry. But joining them is 51-year-old Priscilla Joyce Ford, an African-American teacher and mother of 3. It would be easy to assume that a woman with 3 young children would have driven downtown that day to pick up yams, cranberry sauce, or any other last-minute foods that constitute a stable Thanksgiving spread. But Priscilla Ford is there for a different reason entirely. Ford is driving a blue 1974 Lincoln Continental, a vehicle that weighs over 5,000 pounds, with a top speed of over 120 miles per hour. One might believe that a teacher and mother of 3 might have something of an angelic past, but not Priscilla Ford. 23 years prior to that Thanksgiving day, Ford shot her second husband with a .38 revolver before threatening to turn the gun on herself. She was also arrested for trespassing and assault after tracking down one of her ex-husbands in a fit of rage. Ford is 5'4" and weighs 125 pounds. She has brown eyes and shoulder-length hair combed back. She has crackers and emerald dry wine before leaving on an errand. Her blood alcohol ratio is .162. That's too drunk to be driving legally, but many are barfly. Oh, many a barfly. Barfly. Many a barfly. Hey, yeah. Janelli Watt has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Butter Sock Called. Thank you. Oh, Jenna Lee. I said Janelli, but Jenna Lee is the name, and thank you for becoming a member. Thank you. Wolves fan, you're sick. Oh no. Get that vitamin C, my dude. Alright, this chick is drunk, and she driving. Johnny Wow says, how do you donate? So I believe if you go down the area where you type in your chat, there should be a $sign that you can click. And that should take you through the process of putting in your info for that. That's up to you. But there's also another way if you prefer PayPal. You can use down below in the description. I don't know if one of the mods can tell me if the description is up to date or not, because their YouTube's going through some weird changes here, but yeah, you got some options. That's too drunk to be driving legally, but many a barfly has made it home with hire. Sitting peacefully in her car, Priscilla Ford notices that there are many more people than usual walking up and down the downtown sidewalks. People are milling along Casino Row. Perhaps because of the mild weather, there are more tourists than usual here during the tail end of a national recession. It takes another minute for the Lincoln to make its way to 100 feet south of southeast corner of 2nd and Virginia Streets. That sounded weird, sorry. It takes another minute for the Lincoln to make its way to 100 feet south of the southeast corner of 2nd and Virginia Streets. At 2:59 p.m., the Lincoln jumps the curb and careens down the sidewalk. It hits the curb at about 20 miles an hour so as not to blow the tires, but the vehicle rapidly accelerates to as high as 40 miles per hour, driving another 100 feet down the sidewalk, witnesses will later say. It crosses the 2nd Street crosswalk and continues another 322 feet down the sidewalk in front of the bank, in front of Harrah's. What the fuck is this? Harrah's. It crosses the 2nd Street crosswalk and continues another 322 feet down the sidewalk in front of the bank, in front of Harrah's, Nevada Club, and Harold's Club. Then it's back on Virginia Street, crossing to the southbound lane and stopping 2 blocks later behind traffic at the 5th Street traffic light. The light is red. Bodies fly left and right. The screams are blood-curdling. Destruction follows the car's path like a tornado. 5 people are killed immediately and 24 are injured. 14 people will be sent to Washoe Medical. Washoe. This is terrifying. Just imagine someone just losing their shit and just deciding, I'm gonna run you over. You know what sounds like a good idea? Let me drive my car on the sidewalk. Oops, I didn't wear my glasses. Washoe is an Indian tribe. That's interesting. Do they have the word pronounced? Washoe. The Washoe. I could see it being something like Washoe. One of these dictionaries has got to have it.
Washoe.
Alright, that sounds fine. When you cook the pears, they caramelize a little bit and turn from sweet to savory. Interesting. 14 people will be sent to Washoe Medical Center, the remaining 10 to St. Mary's. Street signs, body parts, clothing, wounded, and dead lie on the sidewalk. And in the gutter... And in the gutter, like victims... Oh, I see, okay. Street signs, body parts, clothing, wounded, and dead lie on the sidewalk and in the gutter, like victims of a natural disaster. But this is an entirely unnatural disaster. It takes only a few seconds for Ford to drive 5 whole blocks. For the victims, every second following the attack is an eternity, waiting for help to arrive, for family members to come, for the news of survivors and casualties. But the longest wait, some will later say, is for justice. John Oakes is the deputy district attorney on call that day. I was dispatched down to a hit and run, he says. I thought they were kidding me. It's Thanksgiving. I got downtown and it was a war zone. I never saw nothing like that before in my life. There were bodies everywhere. It was pure carnage. People were crying over the bodies of the dead. Ambulances were responding, but there just weren't enough of them. It was a complete mess. Later, John Oakes is told to keep an eye on Priscilla Ford. There was a trauma center set up down at Washoe Med, and we had the victims coming in crying and screaming, family members filing in, all of them just shell-shocked. The perp was right next door. An officer and I were directed to maintain security because a lot of people wanted to just end her right there. Oakes spends around 5 hours in the company of the killer. He says the most remarkable thing about her was her calmness, mixed with callousness. At one point, she looked at me point blank and asked, "How many people did I kill?" I said 5 or 6. She said, "Good." She was just cold to it all, like it was just another day to her. Very matter of fact. Very matronly, motherly. She was acting self-righteous, like she was justified in what she did, and we couldn't figure out why at the time. What's the first defense of anybody who creates this kind of carnage? Only a crazy person would do something like that. I got down to Reno PD before she was brought into booking, and I had them set up the video, so we could see on tape exactly how lucid she was. She knew who she was and where she was. That tape was well worth its weight in gold. On August 4th, 1981, Priscilla Ford was successfully found competent to stand trial after previously being found incompetent in January 20. Hooah! Oh wait, I missed a membership there. Sorry. And a donation from Jamie at $10 says, I don't know if Holly is still here, but I have to profess my love back to her. Also profess my love for Pickles. You're all right too. Thank you, Jamie. What's that one show is on Adult Swim? It's like Mr. Pickles. It's like a satanic dog. It's pretty funny. Wolves fan says, will COPPA affect your channel? Well, so far, basically, all that YouTube has done has asked channels to essentially click either yes, my video or channel is for children, or no, my videos are not for children. So, as you guys can tell, listening to this, like, this is clearly not content that's for children, so it's not for children. So I, thankfully, I don't believe will be affected by COPPA, but it will take effect in January, so it's hard to say the fallout from that. I'm not really sure. But thanks for asking. It's a good question. Slaymaker has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock Cult. Thank you, Slaymaker. Welcome, welcome. It's good. It's cool to see all these green names popping up. So I've been listening to your channel for a few months, so I decided it's time to show some monetary love. Thank you, Slaymaker. That's a cool name, too. That sounds like Widowmaker, almost. Nom nom nom. Pickles are the bomb. Nom nom nom. Pickles are the bomb. Ra Harakti says, I want to profess my love for Joel too, but this e-soy boy has no e-coins, so never mind, it's okay. E-coins. Where are the e-coins at? In the e-soy. Fat Coon says, can I ask your name? My name is Joel. Joel. You can call me that, or you can call me Let's Read, or Doink Daddy. Up to you. Zodiac sign. Gemini? And all that shiz. What's my zodiac forecast for the day? Alright, she was very matter of fact. Okay. On August 4th, 1981, Priscilla Ford was successfully found competent to stand trial after previously being found incompetent on January 29th. The trial lasted almost 5 months. After 13 hours of deliberation, a jury composed of 7 women and 5 men found Ford guilty on 6 counts of murder and a whopping 23 counts of attempted murder on March 19, 1982. A few weeks later, the jury decided she was to be put to death. Even though 7 people died as a result of Ford's attack, issues in the indictment caused Ford to only be charged with 6. Ford's lawyer claimed she was mentally ill with schizophrenia and should not be put to death, rather spend the rest of her life in a mental institution. However, the district attorney called her evil personified and fought for Ford to be found legally sane. Ford herself went on to stand and testify that she believed she was the reincarnation of Jesus and therefore incapable of sin. But it seems the only thing Priscilla Ford was incapable of was compassion for her victims. Dude, that's fucked up, man. Fucking Thanksgiving Day and someone's like, alright, time to play IRL Grand Theft Auto. Here we go. What would your Chinese zodiac sign be if you were born in 1995? Shit, I don't even know. I don't know anything about Chinese zodiac. It's kind of cool that... Is there a difference between Chinese zodiac and normal? Not normal zodiac, but like Greek zodiac stuff? Lauren, yeah, you would be a full-grown pizza. That's your zodiac sign. You would be a buttersock. All right, guys, I'm about to record this outro with y'all, and I need you to give me some ideas of what to say at the end. Happy Thanksgiving. Your birthday's June 9th. Nice. Mine's June 4th. You are the year of the dragon. 1995 is for the pig. Year of the porker. How long does editing take? Maybe like a couple. Well, it probably only takes like less than a half an hour to like clip all the audio together myself, and then after that, I've kind of got like a cookie cutter formula for a lot of the videos, as far as like having all the assets just set up, and I just have to like align them like a puzzle for the most part and stuff. So, it's not super long. It's more just, the rendering takes a while, and then uploading and all that. I think the total process of, what have we been recording for 2 hours, almost 2 hours and a half. And then I would add maybe 3 to 4 more hours on that or something. I'd say the total process of each video might take like 5 to 6 ish, give or take. Give or take an hour or so, depending on how efficient I am. Cherry V with the 5 says, hey, love you. Oh, thank you, Cherry. I love you as well. Thank you. Thank you. Ending statement. Don't let the turkey tame you this Thanksgiving. Be safe. Be smart. Actually, I'll just do that. That sounds great, actually. Thank you. Hey, friends. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, don't let the turkey tame you this Thanksgiving. Be safe. Be smart. Oh my god, my own voice just gave me chills. Oh, did you guys feel that? Was that a skinwalker? Good night, guys. Thanks for being here. Like I said, all those cool things that I mentioned that you can go follow, like me on Instagram, Let's Read.official, or Twitter, Let's Read Creepy. I wish I had like more continuity with my social media, but it is what it is. It's all located down below. And then join the Discord. This audio will be first up on Patreon for only $1 a month, which is pretty dank. Iris with the pizza love. Hello, Iris. But yeah, good night, guys. This video will be out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you are in the world. And I hope everyone is having a great holiday and is safe and loving and kind and fills their bellies with lots of brined turkey. But yes, be well and farewell, my friends.